So here's an unsuccessful pitch. The subject line: opinion piece on remote work. As a working professional, I found that remote work has its benefits and challenges. Many people are struggling with the balance between personal and professional lives. In my experience, working from home can be both freeing and overwhelming at times. Companies should consider allowing more remote work options because it helps people maintain better work-life balance. I'd like to write a piece for the Wall Street Journal about the pros and cons of remote work, drawing from my personal experience. Okay, so why was this pitch bad? If I could see you, I'd probably ask for volunteers, or you can type it in the chat, but I am just going to go over it. So it was too generic. There was nothing unique. There was nothing fresh. Remote work is common and not new. Maybe in 2020 we could have talked about that, but it's old news. The argument was weak. There was no strong, clear stance. They mentioned both benefits and challenges, which meant like, so what are you saying? Like it's good and bad? Like that's not compelling at all. There was a vague personal connection. So they had experience with remote work, but like almost everybody does at this point, right? No timeliness. It doesn't tie into anything that's like specifically happening right now. So that we're gonna do the successful version in a second, so you'll see. And then it lacks depth. There's no research. There's no stats. Doesn't talk about broader implications. So it's just kind of like blah, boring pitch. So here's an improved pitch that might work better. So subject is remote work is failing America's small towns. So immediately, like you have this far more specific thesis in the headline there, or the subject line. So you would say, hi, Cassie or whoever. While remote work has been heralded as a way to achieve work-life balance, it's quietly wreaking havoc on America's small towns. As more professionals leave cities for suburban or rural areas, they often demand urban amenities that these communities can't afford to provide. From rising housing costs to increased infrastructure demands, remote work is driving a gentrification-like phenomenon in small towns across the country. As a former city dweller who moved to a rural town during the pandemic, I've seen firsthand how these shifts are stretching resources and changing the character of once close-knit communities. I propose a piece for the Wall Street Journal exploring how remote work is reshaping small-town America, backed by interviews with town officials, local business owners, and recent remote work transplants. So that is so much better. Do you see how much more specific it is? Do you see how they are talking about who they're going to source in this? And also for the some of the stats they mentioned there, or the rising housing costs and increased infrastructure demands, for that part, just FYI for your information, I would definitely be linking the evidence to what he's saying there.